All right, what is going on, everyone? Back live again. It's always a little bit weird when I first turn on the camera because I don't know if it's live. But yes, we are live. Let me know in the comment section that you are here. You can see the stream. And guys, if you are joining right now, do me a favor. I'm gonna try and go live more often because we got a good turnout on Monday. So I might try and go live like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. But I need your guys' help in getting this out to more people, and it's always a little bit weird at the start, but we're going to get into it. There are some big things happening today, but also I want you guys to remember that nothing in the live stream is financial advice, absolutely ever. And look at this, guys. The UK has now officially recognized crypto as property. A new UK law has reclassified cryptocurrencies as legal property, putting them in the same legal category as stocks, real estate, and other tangible assets. That gives holders clear ownership rights, ability to own, inherit, recover, and treat crypto like any other regulated asset. This removes major legal uncertainty. Crypto becomes easier in estate planning. But as we know, the UK is absolutely horrible for crypto. And I'm not sure, I feel like they're going to be watching the US and they're going to be like, oh, we should really maybe get on board with this because we got all these millionaires leaving. We got horrible tax. We got horrible, opinion towards business owners and all of that stuff. And yeah, this is them trying to maybe claw some of that back. But we're not going to be convinced that easy, mate. But as you guys are all aware, we are doing absolutely lovely in the market right now. But can this be trusted? What am I doing? What is the outlook, in the short term and the long term? Because we need to be real. There are some things that I'm really not liking the look of, all right? In other news, though, we do have the Ethereum upgrade happening today. And this could actually be quite interesting, right? If I don't bore you with all of the details, but the TLDR, right? There's an upgrade. It adds peer DAS, cuts L2 data costs by 85%, forces L2 to pay proper blob fees, way more ETH gets burnt, and a result, Ethereum flips from slightly inflationary back to deflationary, an extra 200 to 400,000 ETH burned per year. And this is big, right? We want ETH to be deflationary so we can actually get some upward momentum eventually. Now, guys, can we get the likes to 100 likes? If you are here, there's 300 of you at the very start of the stream. It's very important that you help me by liking the stream so we get out to more people. This means that I will go live more often. If you do want me to go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, then I need your help, right? I need your help. And especially right now, I wanted to start going live when the market was a little uncertain. We went live on Monday, which was before this little old lovely pump that we've been having. And hopefully my videos have been helping you guys. So if they have, do let me know, and also ask some questions in the chat, because mainly the live streams are for answering you guys' questions, which obviously I can't do when I just do normal videos, right? So big news, right? UK big news, Ethereum big news. This could be good, right? If we get a bullish landscape, right? The thing is what people need to understand is we can flip on a dime, right? Whatever the saying is, I never know any of my sayings, but we can flip just so quickly bullish. But a few things need to happen. And this is the kind of thing that can help that momentum. Now, we also see Ted here saying that Bitcoin could pump enough to make people believe that all-time highs are coming. This is exactly what I want to be talking about. I want to be taking a look at Bitcoin's price. And I want to be talking to you about this because I've spoken about this recently. And I need you guys to be very aware, right? Obviously, my regions right here and basically right here, right? The 50-week, the 200-day, and my little area here that I really wanted to hold. Now, actually, I do probably think another nice area is this. Now, the reason why I think that's a good area to be watching closely is, of course, that is actually the end of the bull market, depending on how you look at higher lows and higher high structures, right? And we didn't actually break it. So interestingly, we came down, we didn't break that structure, and we've also now put in a higher low on the lower time frame, which is nice to see. And we did slice through butter with a hot knife, and then we absolutely sliced through butter with a hot knife back up. So I was actually worried about this candle. This candle didn't look good, but luckily, we put in a higher low, which is nice to see. The candle body is also higher low, as well as the wicks, which I like, right? This is something that I like. Now, we are at resistance, and we are yet to break that resistance. You know, we're still trying. And I want to see that. But what's important to realize is yes, this is exciting. We can be excited, and I want people to feel good about what's happening. But let's not let that blind us, because we need to separate ourselves. Because everyone who watches my videos, right, you guys understand my theory around manipulation. And of course, this is speculation. It is theory, right? Because I don't have proof to you that someone's sitting there, sell, you know, like that meme where they're like, okay, dump it. Okay, pump it, right? But that, you know, obviously it doesn't really happen like that. But that's how I consider this market, right? That is happening. And what we can do to tap into what's going on and see the data that they're potentially using, right, is of the liquidation. And I don't like this. All right. I really don't like this, because we have 8.7 billion of shorts. Of course, a lot of those have been squeezed to push Bitcoin's price up. And now we have 8.6. So 8.6. Wait, what did I just do there? Did I just mess up? Let me just refresh. We'll get back. Okay. So 9 billion and 8.6 billion. All right. So 9 billion in short, 8.6 billion in long. This is not the ideal landscape that we have seen last time. All right. It's not the same as what we were seeing when the market was opposite, right? And we were seeing reasons to trade, right? When the market crashed, the reason, sorry, my phone just went off. The reason I was still bullish is because everyone was bearish. But now a lot of people are becoming bullish again, which makes me uncomfortable for the short term. And a lot of people commented on my video this morning saying, well, Connor, if leverage destroys the market every time, how are we ever going to go up? If people are just going to long, if they're going to short, how are we ever going to go up? Well, the thing is that people need to understand. I've just seen Tyler Hill join the chat. What is up, Tyler Hill? Everyone say Wagwan to Tyler Hill in the chat, because for some reason he's coming over and checking us out. I don't know why he would do that. Maybe he's trying to get ideas for videos. I don't know. Not that he would ever do that, but I steal ideas from Tyler. That's the joke. But what I want people to understand is, yes, the leverage creates volatility, right? The leverage creates volatility, but that volatility doesn't matter if you have a long-term time horizon. And of course, if you're investing into an asset like Bitcoin, right, and you're not short-term trading it, then you have to have a long-term time horizon. It'd be absolutely nuts to have anything other than a long-term time horizon. And by long-term, I mean like at least 5 years. At least 5 years, all right? But now, zooming in on what's going on right now, I want you guys to remember what happened, all right? So here we have a low, and then we have where we've gone 16%. But the confirmation, right, that I'm looking for the bear market happened after a low to 40% gain, right? 40%. Then we got rejected from the 200 MA. So a lot of people are also saying, well, Connor, why haven't you flipped super bearish when we dropped below the 200-day, the 50-week, the little line in the sand that I had? Well, these things take time to confirm. And before I start doing things like going short and like not expecting a bounce, I need time. I'm a very patient investor. Tyler Hill will contest to this. I will contest to this. A lot of us who have been in this market for a long time, the way to make money here is to be patient. All right. You have to be patient. And for me to flip, right? Okay, yeah, we went down. But for me to completely change my investments, right, because of this downward momentum would be nuts if I've sat through this, if I've sat through this, if I sat through this, if I sat through this. And this area right here taught me that it takes time for us to make a low, to decide where the market's going to go. And then there's still time for us to push up to a new high. And this defied all odds, just like this push will define all odds if it happens. So before I get bearish, before I start shorting the market and betting and assuming that Bitcoin isn't going to make new highs and all of that sort of stuff, I want real confirmation. And that real confirmation looks like this. This is a proper dead cat bounce. What we've had now is not a recovery. It's not a dead cat bounce. It's just a little blip, right? This could still come down and we could still have the dead cat bounce that I'm talking about. So ideally, we want to see us break all of these resistance. And now that sounds obvious. Of course we do. But it's a very treacherous area to be in right now because of the leverage, which creates volatility. So the best way to handle this is in my opinion, I've taken my foot off the gas. All right. I'm still trading, but most of my trades, my short-term trades, have been closed out. We have the Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin trade. The Bitcoin trade is doing phenomenally well because I took a bet, right? I stuck to my guns. I dollar cost averaged on the way down significantly. I now have 3 Bitcoin open in this trade. The Solana is in a slight profit. The Ethereum stayed in a profit because we didn't go low enough to hit my average open. I have that low leverage, and then I have my higher leverage Dogecoin trade, which I absolutely love, right? I love this Dogecoin trade because it just seems to be like a beta play with the way Bitcoin moves. Every time Bitcoin moves, this moves really nicely. And that's something that I've seen. So I have my stop losses. I have my realized P&L, $6,000 in this trade. And then I have my unrealized, 11,800. I'm very happy with that. And with this size of a trade, this is over $100,000 of Dogecoin I have in this trade, right? The upside is awesome. And the downside here, I've now limited it to nothing because I have my stop losses, right? So that's how I'm playing this market. Normally, I had trades on AVAX, I had trades on Tau, I had trades on XRP and all of these other coins. But this is all I have right now. So this is me taking my foot off the gas. And what I want from you guys is happily ask me some questions here. I've got a little bit of time here to answer questions. We got Tyler Hill in the chat. If I wasn't like so old and technologically not good, if I use a word I shouldn't use, I would be able to like just bring him in. Like just jump on a call, mate. Like, could I do that? Am I able? I don't know. But ask me some questions. I will happily answer some questions here. I think it's important in a moment like this to you know, chat with you guys while we're in a crazy time in the market. So get your comments in, and I'm gonna start liking once we hit 200. Sorry, I'm gonna start liking. I'm gonna start responding to the comments once we hit 200 likes. So right now we're at 585 viewers. I need 200 likes. All right, let's get it done. Tyler, haha, we do one this. Yeah, we could. I've been suggesting I'll go live like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, potentially. So, yeah, but maybe I could do. And Tyler Hill's actually going to buy a Bentley. Everyone congratulate Tyler Hill. He's about to buy a Bentley GTC. So that is very exciting for Tyler. Guys, come on. You got to like the stream. We've got 155 likes. Come on. All you have to do is hit like, and then I would jump into the question and answer. And I'm going to do it. First, I'll have some of this. Do we have anything else news-wise? Imagine Trump saying this, the new potential Fed chair. This could also be one of the reasons, but I think a big reason is Vanguard opening up. Where is it? Vanguard opening up, basically saying that people can buy the BlackRock ETF, and then, you know, all of this money that couldn't buy it before. And, you know, it might have been strategic. Vanguard may very well have been waiting for a pullback to then be like, okay, well, I don't want to give them access when it's so high, but I want to give them access when we had a pullback. And maybe this is enough for them to be like, yeah, this is enough, right? This is enough of a pullback. That's how Vanguard speak, by the way. That was my impression. All right, guys, you smashed it. 250 likes. If you could continue pouring in the likes, it will help this video get out to more people, and I would really, really appreciate it. But let's get into some of these questions. Risto9, do I ever flex? I don't know what you mean. Do I? Not really. No, I don't, not really a big old flexer. Like, I mean, flexing from my position won't benefit anything for me because I don't know, it doesn't really make any difference. What I want is for more people. My flex would be to have as many people as possible do something similar to me. I went from $3,000 a month when I worked to now making much more than that. And I used the internet to do that, right? And that's what I want everyone to be able to do. And crypto is one of these awesome opportunities that we have. We have outsized opportunity here. I believe that our parents got property, right? And Bitcoin and crypto is basically our version of that. The way people of our generation, you know, someone who's 20 now all the way up to probably 40, the way they talk about how, you know, our parents got all of the opportunity, they got all the property and now we can't afford property. Well, we got Bitcoin and we got whatever other coins, you know, have such a massive move. So, you know, I believe that that's the biggest flex, right? Bitcoin's 1 million and Tyler buys everyone a Bentley. I love that. I think that's a great idea. I think Tyler should buy everyone a Bentley anyway. That would be, you know, that'd be the least Tyler could do. Personally, that's what I think. Does a new 2-year ETF cycle start from now? I think I don't think it's wise to base things on time, right? Yes, the 4-year cycle has worked really well up until now, and then now it doesn't. And like that's what we see from like basically every indicator, every single time frame, everything. Like it's all fine until it doesn't work, right? Because this right here broke the whole, okay, well, if we lose the 200, if we use the 50, if we lose previous support, if we lose previous resistance, like Bitcoin can just basically do whatever it wants to do. And it's weird to say it, but even at $100,000, Bitcoin is still a small asset class and it can be pushed around, right? So, like, to convince people the market is dead, to load up, to make money from liquidations, to make money however, buying high, selling low, repeating, convincing people to sell, all of that stuff, right, is very easy. No, it's not easy, but it's much easier in Bitcoin. And it's even easier in the altcoins. So, this could be the start of a 2-year cycle. It could be the start of a 5-year cycle. It could be the start. And those are important to pay attention to. So you can figure out your strategy. Like maybe if you followed the 4-year cycle, you did manage to sell a lot in this period right here. Right. And that would be awesome because right now you'd be sitting on gains. You'd also be sitting on the opportunity to dollar cost average. I actually took profits a little bit too early in this cycle and then I waited and now I'm still waiting. Right. And, to be completely honest, I don't like to say this because it kind of feels like I'm saying like, oh, well, it doesn't even matter. Like I get it. Like we didn't have an alt season, very frustrating. Like in 2024, we had a meme season, which could be argued was, this season's alt season, right? I don't want to be the guy who says you should be grateful for all of that, but my biggest positions were Solana, ETF, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Those are my biggest positions. And the reason I chose those was because I believed in the institutional narrative. And I also believed in the Ethereum killer narrative. And I also have some exchange tokens which have done well. So all of those are still now in significant profits. So if I decide that we have got rejected and we are going into a bear market, I still may very well take profits. Like I have like live streams here where I'm talking about Solana at $18, right? So you can think about that. Bitcoin, 16,000. So like my averages are much lower than where we are right now. XRP is still up 4x. And these are the kinds of gains that I've always been talking about being my goals and my ambition, right? I'm not talking about 100x. I want to try and do large capital, 2x, 3x, 4x. And that's what I've done with those things. Yes, it's frustrating that I didn't sell Solana at the all-time highs, but because of this buffer, it gives me the opportunity to stay on emotional right now. And if we go into a bear market, it's going to give all of you guys the same opportunity if you're not sitting where I am right now. And bear markets are a blessing in disguise. Like they felt horrible. My first bear market in 2018 felt horrible here, but it was so good. Like I can't tell you enough how grateful I am to lose everything here and have years of accumulation. And then this was amazing, right? Because I'd already lost everything and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to sell. And I actually sold, right? I didn't sell all of it. I sold like 50 to 60%. Brilliant. Because then I had all of this capital to reinvest in this region and I reinvested it and I reinvested heavy and it was amazing. So if we get the same thing again, it's going to be painful. It's going to be emotional, but it's a blessing, right? It really is. It really is. It gives a lot of opportunity. But the problem is most people don't take the opportunity because it doesn't feel nice, right? Because everyone at 125 is like, well, if Bitcoin goes to 50K, I'm going to buy everything. I'm going to sell everything. I'm going to buy as much Bitcoin as possible. But in that moment, right, the majority of people believe Bitcoin's dead. It's over. It's a scam. It's whatever it is. There'll be new FUD. And that's why they don't buy in moments like that. So they don't get that opportunity. Who Tyler's buying everyone a Bentley. Oh, he needs a boat too. Tyler's buying everyone a boat and a Bentley. That is nice. I've never seen so much bad news and such bad sentiment. This is one of the reasons why I try not to panic. That's awesome. So you haven't been in this market environment before, but we have, right? And I think that's why these live streams are so good. Like this is normal, guys. China banned Bitcoin mining here, and people thought it was the end. It wasn't. And there was so many things. Every time there's a crash, there's a reason for it. That's why I'm saying in the middle of the bear market, it doesn't just go down to 50 and everyone's like, oh, great, I'll buy it. No one wants to buy it. That's why it's managed to go so low. So these are the opportunities. And the opportunity may have been 80K, but it might also be 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. It can be any of those things. But for me, the way I catch the bottom is dollar cost averaging, right? That's what I've found. And there will be people who get a better entry than me, but I don't want to be waiting for the perfect entry. I just want a dollar cost average because that's what I want, right? What my thoughts on Bitcoin following the business cycle seems to check out the shit. Yeah, I quite like the idea of the business cycle. It's hopium, right? We're all looking for a reason why the top's not in, and the business cycle is another one of those pieces of hopium. But it makes sense, right? And like I said, like these things change. The 4-year cycles change. Everything changes. So it's just important that you protect your capital at all costs. You only invest money you can afford to lose, and you look like a long-term time horizon for Bitcoin has always been the right the right way to behave, right? Things can change, but that's it. Benny645, what prompted me to sell all of my AVAX, TAL, etc.? How long would you let them bleed before? So I didn't sell the spot versions. I didn't hold AVAX. I don't hold TAL in the spot market. I had leverage trades open on them, and they were stopped out. So the way my trading style, right, is relatively simple, but it takes let's call it emotional fortitude, right? So I got this trade, this Dogecoin trade. There's like almost $20,000 of profit here, which is awesome, right? I'm very happy with that. But guys, this was horrible, right? Trying to catch this trade was horrible because we were just going down and down and down and down and down, right? So I kept waiting, getting my stop loss, like getting the entry, waiting for a bounce, stop loss to break even, liquidated or stopped out, and then just rinsing and repeating that until I got this trade, right? And then we got in, and then I took profits really quickly on the way up. And then we dumped last night or the night before last, and then I doubled the position. So it's scary, but essentially, right, this is what I was doing with AVAX. This is what I was doing everything. The reason why I'm sticking with Doge is I really just like the way Doge reacts to Bitcoin's moves, right? It's nice. And so I get in, and then I take profits, and then I move these stop losses, right? You see these stop losses? One of them's a half position, and one of them's the full position. And then I move them up, right? So once I've taken profits, they're basically the stop loss is in break even. So yes, it limits the amount of volatility I can sustain. But if I've already taken profits out of the trade, it protects the downside, right? So that's what happened with AVAX. It happened with TAL. On the big liquidation day last month, basically most of my accounts were stopped out, and all of this, not all of them, like these low leverage positions, some of them survived. The XRP hit the stop loss. Solana, ETH, and Bitcoin, they didn't have stop losses on them. So you can see my sole position gets liquidated at $7, right? So it didn't hit. Bitcoin's, because it was I had one Bitcoin open in that liquidation event. The liquidation price was like $1,000 or something. So I didn't hit any of the liquidations for those, but I did hit some stop losses. So that was a long-winded way of saying that's the reason why the positions closed. It's not because I'm not bullish on them. I think Tau actually still has a great opportunity. If we get an alt season, I think Tau will do very well. But right now, I'm waiting for this confirmation. For me, I'd rather just be later into my entry into Tau, later into my entry into AVAX, once we get the confirmation that, the liquidity is coming and people are bullish again. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Tyler, truth be told, what's happening in the market right now is not nearly as bad as the last bear market. It feels just worse because we didn't get this parabolic. Exactly. This is nowhere near as bad as anything that I've been through before. This is actually minor. The thing is that people forget, and it's very hard for people like me and Tyler in our position to differentiate between people who are new and people who haven't been through this before. But you see this right here, this pump, this is the ETFs being approved, guys. And this rally, right? Let's say up to here, 162%, all the way up to 214%. We basically, all of this was happening because we knew we were about to get an ETF. At some point, we're going to get an ETF, and we were all waiting. And look how insignificant this looks, right? We got the ETF, and then Bitcoin dumped 20%. And imagine how it feels in a moment like that. Let's say we've been riding this hype for a year, and everyone's so bullish. Then we get the ETF, and it dumps. That's so, like, that moment was like, we were like, oh my, maybe the ETF isn't this bullish news. And it's scary. It's a scary thing. And then we inevitably went up. And then, guys, we inevitably went up, right? We made a new high from this low, like up here. And then we spent the next, like, look at this, like 205 days in a downtrend. Almost a year. this downtrend. And people just forget about that. And then guess what? We had a parabolic end to 2024. So we've been through much worse than this in this bull market, right? Which is crazy to even think because it feels so bad. But I tell you, the market just instantly forgets. It's kind of crazy, right? Us included. Like, we're like, nothing's really happened. Then you think about all these things that have happened, and it's wild. How many times do I change and evolve my strategy? Do you think your current one is the most effective? So right now, I don't like this strategy that I'm using. It's a bit precarious in the moment where we are not confirmed if we're in a bull market. It works very well when we're in a bull market, but right now I'm still waiting to see what happens because, the data. So the reason why I'm in that Dogecoin trade, the reason why I added so aggressively to the Bitcoin trade is because the data was telling me that the market was expecting a crash. So the majority of the market is expecting a crash. That's when I'm betting the opposite, right? And I'll be able to hopefully use the same data to do the opposite, for example. But this is what's worked for me so far. So it is working, but we may get confirmation that it's wrong or it doesn't work so well, right? So every strategy has to grow and adapt. And one thing that's important to really understand about crypto trading strategies and see you later, Tyler. And any strategy, right? Whether it's Forex, crypto, stocks, anything, right? The important thing to understand is when you figure out a strategy, you're kind of coming in at an angle that not many people are. Like, there'll be a lot of people that can tell you, oh, you can do this, right? And it'll be like a 3-year-old strategy of, some sort of breakout or whatever. But that the edge, you lose the edge because when everyone starts doing the edge, it stops working. So everyone's strategy will consistently be updating. And it will always be different and it will always chop and change. And you might be losing leverage one day. You might not be using leverage. You might be doing this. You might be doing staking. You might be doing different things, right? Because we have so many opportunities in crypto. So it's important to be like very fluid with your strategies and don't bank everything on it always working, right? So that's the way it goes. Someone just said my strategy lost me 70K. I get that. I lost 75K in 2017. It was all of the money that I thought, that is all the money that I made, all of it, right? And then I lost 25 to 35% of the money I made in the 2021 bull market because I had it in UST and that collapsed as well. So that's just life, right? Think of it as a tuition. Guys, we have 345 likes. I have to start getting ready to leave. If you want me to stay, let's smash this all the way up to 400 likes, and I'll continue to answer some questions here. Keep the questions coming in, but yeah, get those likes up so I can get this video out to more people. Also, let me know in the chat, guys. Do you want me to keep going live? What are the best days to go live? Can I get is there like a question I can I do like a little? I'm so bad with all of this stuff. Let me try. What can I do? Can I get? Oh, here we go. Q&A. Ask. Start a poll. Shall I go live more? Let me know, guys. Starting that poll. So you're just gonna knock out the chat. There we go. Oh. Come on, guys. Like it up. If you want me to stay, like it up. Am I foolish for holding Mon? I don't even know, honestly. My strategy cost me $0. I just hold. Exactly. There you go. Just buying and holding Bitcoin over time. Awesome. What are my thoughts on Sui right now? Again, same sort of idea, same sort of thing as basically everything other than those like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Dogecoin. I've just really enjoyed the way Dogecoin has been moving. But Sui is, I don't have the, like, right now when there's not tons of liquidity, it probably would be good for me to open my trades again, but I'm just going to wait. I want to be patient. I don't want to like dump all in using the fact that we're going up because it's going to be a wild ride. I think Sui will do really well if we go back into a bull market, right? If we get the liquidity, if all of these things actually happen, then I think it's going to do really well. I think Sui is going to do similar to what Solana did, but it's just going to take time. What do I think if Trump cuts interest rates 2.5 in 2026? Could that cause? Yeah, it would be bullish, right? I think access to capital is what's very bullish for the markets. And the thing is about the 4-year cycle is like this 4-year cycle didn't the bull market didn't happen when we had cheap money. So that that's definitely another piece of hopium that I'm using it as hopium. Do I think there'll be a pullback after the same day yesterday? Yeah, I do. I think it's most likely that this is dangerous, right? We have 8.63 billion in long positions being open. And guys, these people have been opening longs, you know, it, it's going to be after the rally, right? It's going to be after the rally pushed up. So instead of buying it here or here, they're buying after the rally. So normally when that happens, we do get volatility. However, on the way down, we had tons of shorts and no longs, and it still continued to go down. And that's where I was saying, like, it may be time to reassess how I use the data. For me right now, it still works, but we definitely saw something strange there with, everyone being right for so long. But that money may also be completely annihilated and completely taken back by the ones who stayed short. If we get like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Bitcoin does something like this, right? We went from a very similar price, so 67 to 108, right? 67, that low to 108. That's like a 61% move, and it happened in 43 days. That would annihilate probably everyone, like let's say 80% of the people who made money shorting this market, because they would have continued to short. They probably didn't take profits, that sort of thing, right? Do I believe in the extended business cycle like Raoul Powell? I believe that there are many ways that this could continue. I think not one size fits all. I think it could possibly, like, totally be possible. Should I sell everything right now to buy a car? Depends. Are you in profit? Is that your goal? Maybe. If that's what you want. Why should a multimillionaire keep daily posting? You are really helpful to us. Thank you. I'll be honest, it's so easy. I see this kind of thing all the time, and I appreciate how you're being like nice about it. A lot of people use that as a like, why would you still post if you made so much money? There's a world where not everyone is a dick, right? And I started this channel when I didn't have almost like really anything, right? I had, a good amount of savings. I had a good amount of Bitcoin that I'd been buying in the bear market, and I had an opinion, and I thought, and I made YouTube channels for free. Me and my fiance now, we had a 1-bedroom apartment, and I made videos from our bedroom. We shared the 1-bedroom apartment with someone else to split the rent with, and I worked for free while she went to work, right? And I did that for like a year. Well, it was like 4 or 5 months until things started to kick off. But like, I didn't really take any money out of like YouTube AdSense and stuff for a good year. And I worked for free. So it's always an odd position for me to sit in. Like someone else asked earlier in the stream, like why I don't flex. It's a weird position for me because I haven't built my channels on, say, like flexing, right? So, oh, I'm so rich, so you should buy crypto because I'm so rich. I don't think that at all. Actually always my plan was to help people get financial freedom, and my opinion is financial freedom is whatever your income is now, right, or your expenses monthly, getting that passively. So getting that, say, you use crypto as a vehicle to make X amount of money to buy a property or to buy, SCHD, which is a dividend giving ETF, and you use that as your income. Now you're financially free. Then you can use, say, earned income or whatever to then be, messing around with the more high risk and all of that. And also Bitcoin you can stake, all of that sort of stuff, right? That was always the goal. So I digress. The reason why someone who's made a lot of money online might daily post is because that's what they do, right? I love it. I love having a community. I love talking to people, and I love doing this sort of thing. And it's what I do, right? I don't consider this work. In fact, when I wake up in the morning and something's happened in the market, I'm so excited that I get the opportunity to come on and make a video and post that and have a community. That's awesome. So that's why. And hopefully that sounds genuine and you believe it, because it's the truth. So yeah, hopefully that helps to clear it up. All right. Smashing your questions now, guys, because I've got someone picking me up very, very soon, and I am not ready. So yeah, smashing the questions, and then I'll have to leave. I supported my ex through uni, and then she dumped me within a month of getting her first good job. Well, guess what? That is the tuition fee to your dating journey. Just like losing money in a trade. Doesn't matter. Pick yourself up, move on. There's definitely someone out there for you that's good. And if she was going to do that anyway, you never wanted to be with her. If we're currently in the bear market, isn't it irrational to assume that it'd be 365-day bear market since we've dumped so much so quickly? Not at all. If we are in a bear market, I would 100% assume, and it's an assumption. It's an assumption, but I think it's a rational assumption that we would have from high to low about 350 days, because that's exactly what we had here. High to low, 350 days, 352 days. And if the 4-year cycle is correct and we are in a bear market, then why wouldn't it be about a year? So that gives us 1 year to make as much money in our jobs, our businesses, and all of that as possible to invest into an asset that we believe in. Maybe it's Bitcoin, maybe it's XRP, maybe it's whatever, right? And then we get 3 years. And this is the odd thing, right? People forget this is a 3-year period and it's up only. Up only. So we get 1 year of down and then we get up only, right? And it's, just like focusing on Bitcoin for me makes it just so simple. That's just what works for me. I'm gonna have to end the stream, guys. Ask me like a non-crypto question before I end. And let me know if you like the sparkling water. We got 2,800 views while we've been doing this, and that's better than Mondays. So appreciate it. We are smashing that. I do enjoy this. Yesterday I went long and high, but Bitcoin moved similarly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like in a market environment like this, it's like if you just that's why Bitcoin is the main one. That's where I've got the biggest, by far the biggest trade, right? And then Solana tends to move rapidly. The reason why I have Solana and ETH, they tend to move rapidly as well with the market. What Finland hockey teams do I know? Absolutely none, I'm afraid. Do I still do gymnastics? No, not really, not often. At the end of the last stream, someone actually asked if I was capping when I said I used to be an acrobat. And no, I wasn't capping. This is me. I'm a trained stuntman and an acrobat in shows. And then, yeah, I did stunts since I was like really young. These are like 17 years ago. That was my parkour show reel. This is 13 years ago skating. Oh, there's me. Like doing handstands on the London Underground. Flipping. So yeah, no, not capping at all. By the way, guys, I have started a Connor Kenny business channel as well. This is where I just talk. I just talk to the camera, say how I feel about business, ideas, all of that stuff. It's not crypto based at all. So if you want to check that out, that's just under @CreatorConnor. Just giving my views and opinions on the market, not the market, sorry, like starting online businesses, and all of that. I didn't decide to move from the UK because of taxes, but I decided to stay away because of taxes. Yeah, New York's, yeah, it could be an idea to stream at night. That's 7.